Welcome back. So, we've talked about moving beyond punishment and embracing positive discipline. Now, we are going to dive into one of the most crucial and sometimes most challenging aspects of positive discipline: setting limits. Let's be honest, setting limits can be hard. It's easy to feel like we are being the bad guy, especially if you are trying to move away from more traditional punishment based approaches. We might worry about damaging our relationship with our child or making them feel unloved or rejected. We might feel guilty for saying no, or we might just be plain exhausted and tempted to give in to avoid the battle. But here's the thing: setting limits is essential for healthy child development. Children need boundaries. They need to know what's expected of them, what's acceptable behavior, and what's not. Boundaries provide a sense of security, predictability, and structure, and they help children learn self control, responsibility, and respect for others. And remember, positive discipline is not permissive parenting. It's not about letting your child run wide and do whatever they want. It's about setting clear, consistent limits, but doing it in a way that's loving, respectful, and focused on teaching. It's about finding that sweet spot between warmth and firmness. Think of it like this: imagine a strong, healthy tree. It has deep roots that anchor it firmly to the ground, providing stability and support. Those roots represent the firmness, the clear boundaries, the consistent expectations, the non negotiable rules. But the tree also has flexible branches that sway and bend in the wind. Those branches represent the warmth, the love, the connection, the empathy, the understanding. A tree needs both strong roots and flexible branches to thrive. If it only has roots, it will be rigid and brittle, and it will likely break in a storm. If it only has branches, it will be weak and unstable, and it won't be able to withstand the elements. It's the same with parenting. We need to be both firm and kind. We need to provide both structure and support. We need to set clear limits and maintain a loving, connected relationship with our child. The warmth, the love, the connection, the empathy, that's what makes the limits palatable. It's what makes children want to cooperate, to listen, to learn. It's what builds trust and respect. It's what makes the relationship stronger and resilient. It provides that comfort and sense of safety. The firmness, the clear expectations, the boundaries, the consequences, that's what provides the structure and guidance that children need to develop self control and responsibility. It works help them learn to manage their behavior, to make good choices, and to navigate the world safely and effectively. So it's not about choosing either warmth or fairness. It's about finding that balance, that sweet spot where both are present. It's about being a strong and supportive presence in your child's life, providing both the love and the limits they need to thrive. It's about being both the strong roots and the flexible branches. It's a hug and a no. You need both. So, how do we actually set limits with love? How do we enforce boundaries in a way that's respectful, effective, and consistent with the principles of positive discipline? One of the key strategies is using natural and logical consequences. Now, it's important to understand that consequences in the context of positive discipline are not punishments. They are not about making a child suffer for their misbehavior. They are not about revenge or retribution. They are about teaching. They are about helping children learn from their mistakes and understand the connection between their actions and the outcomes. They are about helping children learn from their mistakes and understand the connection between the actions and the outcomes. There are two main types of consequences we focus on: natural consequences and logical consequences. Let's start with natural consequences. These are consequences that occur naturally as a result of a child's behavior without any intervention from the parent. They are the direct reward outcomes of their choices. For example, if a child refuses to wear a coat on a cold day, the natural consequence is that they get cold. If a child doesn't eat their dinner, the natural consequence is that they get hungry. If a child forgets to bring their own work to school, the natural consequence is that they might have to do it during recess or receive a lower grade. Natural consequences are powerful learning tools because they are so direct and immediate. The child experiences the outcome of their behavior firsthand, and they can easily see the connection between their choice and the results. Here are a few more examples of natural consequences. A child throws a toy and it breaks. The natural consequence is that they no longer have that toy to play with. A child is rude to a friend and the friend doesn't want to play with them anymore. The natural consequence is that the child loses the opportunity to socialize with their friend. A child spends all their allowance on candy and then doesn't have any money left to buy a toy they want. The natural consequence is that they have to wait until they earn more money. Now, it's important to know that natural consequences are not always appropriate or safe. If a child's behavior puts them or others in danger, we obviously need to intervene. We wouldn't let a child run into the street just to experience the natural consequence of getting hit by a car. But in situations where it's safe and appropriate, allowing children to experience natural consequences can be a powerful way to teach them responsibility and help them learn from their mistakes. Now, let's move on to logical consequences. These are consequences that are imposed by the parent, but they are logically related to the child's misbehavior. They are designed to help the child understand the impact of their actions and to make amends for any harm they've caused. The key here is that the consequence should be related to the behavior, respectful and reasonable. Let's look at some examples. If a child draws on the wall with crayons, a logical consequence would be to have them help clean the wall. This is directly related to the misbehavior and it teaches them about responsibility and making amends. If a child throws a toy, a logical consequence might be to have them lose the privilege of playing with that toy for a period of time. Again, it is directly related to the behavior. If a child is unkind to a friend, a logical consequence might be to have them write a letter of apology or to do something kind for the friend to make up for their actions. The goal is not to punish the child, but to help them understand the impact of their behavior and to learn more appropriate ways to interact with others. Here are some more examples so that you can see how it looks in action. A child is playing too rough with the family pets. A logical consequence is they are not allowed to play with the pet for the rest of the day. A child refuses to clean their room. A logical consequence is they are not allowed to play until the room is clean. A child uses inappropriate language. A logical consequence is they have to apologize and think of the appropriate word. It's important to explain the connection between the behavior and the consequence to your child. You might say, because you drew on the wall, you need to help me clean it up. We only drawn on paper. Or because you threw your toy, you are going to lose the privilege of playing with it for a while. Toys are for playing with gently, not for throwing. And remember, the tone is crucial. We are not trying to shame or humiliate the child. We are simply stating the consequence in a calm, matter of fact way and then following through. It is discipline with respect. Now, we've talked about using natural and logical consequences, but there are a few other crucial elements to setting limits effectively. And one of the most important is consistency. Consistency means applying the same rules and consequences every time, regardless of your mood, your child's mood, or the circumstances. It means being predictable and reliable. I know consequences can be tough. We are all human. We have good days and bad days. Sometimes we are tired, stressed, or just plain overwhelmed. And it's tempting to let things slide, to give in to avoid a battle, or to be more lenient when we are feeling guilty. But inconsistency is actually more damaging than you might think. It confuses children. They don't know what to expect. They don't know where the boundaries are. And it undermines their sense of security and trust. Imagine a traffic light that sometimes turns green where it should be red and sometimes stay red when it should be green. It will be incredibly confusing and dangerous, right? You wouldn't know when it was safe to go, and you will be constantly on edge, wondering what the light was going to do next. It's the same with inconsistent discipline. If your child gets away with a certain behavior sometimes, but get punished for it other times, they are not going to learn the rules. They are just going to learn to be unpredictable. So, how do we maintain consistency? It's not about being rigid or inflexible. It's about having a clear set of expectations and sticking to them as much as possible. One helpful strategy is to create a family plan. This could involve sitting down with your partner or co parent if you have one and discussing your expectations for your child's behavior and the consequences that will be applied for misbehavior. Having this plan in writing can help you stay on the same page and avoid inconsistencies. Another helpful tip is to have predetermined consequences for common misbehaviors. For example, you might decide that if your child refuses to clean their room, they lose the privilege of playing video games that day. Or if they hit their sibling, they have to take a short time in to calm down and think about their actions. Having these predetermined consequences can make it easier to respond consistently, even when you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed. You don't have to make a decision in the heat of the moment. You already have a plan in place. And of course, it's important to communicate these expectations and consequences clearly to your child. You need to know what the rules are and what will happen if they break those rules. Now, closely related to consistency is following through. This means that if you say you are going to do something, you must do it. If you threaten a consequence, you must carry it out. This can be incredibly challenging, especially in the moment. It's tempting to give in, to make exceptions, or to back down when your child pleads, cries, or promises to be good. But if you don't follow through, you are teaching your child that your words don't mean anything. They will learn that they can push your boundaries, that they can manipulate you, and that your threats are empty. So, how do you follow through even when it's hard? First, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of the long term benefits of consistency and follow through. Remember that you are teaching your child valuable lessons about responsibility, respect, and self control. Second, try to stay calm and neutral. Don't get drawn into an argument or a power struggle. Simply state the consequence and follow through. And third, have a support system. If you have a partner or co-parent, work together to support each other in setting limits and following through. If you are a single parent, reach out to friends, family members, or other parents for support and encouragement. It will be difficult at times, but the more consistent you are and the more you follow through, the easier it will become. Your child will learn that you mean what you say and they will be less likely to test your limits. Now, let's talk about another important strategy for setting limits with love, offering choices within limits. This is a powerful technique that can help reduce power struggles and give children a sense of control and autonomy while still maintaining your authority as the parent. The key is to offer choices that are limited and acceptable to you. You are not giving your child free rein to do whatever they want. You are giving them a choice between two or three options that are all okay with you. Here are some examples. Do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue shirt today? You don't care which shirt they wear, but they get to choose. Do you want to read a book or draw a picture before bed? They still have to have quiet time before bed, but they get to choose the activity. Would you like carrot or cucumber with your snack? They are getting a healthy snack, but they have a choice. Do you want to do your own work at the kitchen table or in your room? They still have to do their own work, but they get to choose where. Do you want to walk to the park or ride your bike? See how this works? You are setting the limits, but you are also giving your child a sense of control and agency. This can make them feel more respected and more cooperative. Let's picture a scene that's probably familiar to a lot of us. It is school morning, and I'm trying to get my 7-year-old daughter Lily ready to go. She's happily playing with her blocks, totally engrossed, and I've already asked her a couple of times to start getting ready, but she's ignoring me, completely lost in her world. So I get down on her level, make eye contact, and say in a calm voice, Lily, I see you're having fun playing with your blocks, but it's time to get ready for school now. We need to leave in 10 minutes. And of course, her response is, I don't want to go to school. I want to keep playing. She doesn't even look up. Now, instead of getting frustrated, which let's be honest is my first instinct, I take a deep breath and try to connect with her. I say, I know you are having fun and it's hard to stop when you are in the middle of something, but we need to go to school so you can learn and see your friends. She starts to whine, but I don't want to. Okay, classic stalling tactic. So I stay calm and I try to validate her feelings. I say, I hear you, you are feeling disappointed that you have to stop playing, but it is time to get ready. Do you want to put your shoes on first or brush your teeth first? I'm offering her a choice, giving her a little bit of control within the limits I've set. She hesitates for a moment, then says, shoes. Okay, great. I say, let's go put your shoes on. And if you have time after you are ready, maybe you can play with your blocks for a few more minutes before we leave. But if you don't get ready, we miss the bus. Giving her that little incentive and a reminder of the consequence. And thankfully, she started to get ready. But let's say she had it completed. Let's say she had continued to refuse. I wouldn't have started yelling or threatening. I would have calmly said, Lily, you need to start getting ready now. You chose not to get ready when I asked you to, and now you are going to be late. I need you to get your shoes on now. It's firm, it's clear, but it's not a power struggle. It's simply stating the expectation and the consequence. So let's wrap up. Setting limits with love is about finding that balance between warmth and firmness. It's about using natural and logical consequences, being consistent, following through, and offering choices within limits. It's not about being a pushover, and it's not about being a dictator. It's about being a guide, a mentor, a coach. It's about teaching your child the skills they need to navigate the world, to make good choices, and to become responsible, respectful, and self disciplined individuals. And remember, this takes practice, it takes patience, it takes consistency. You're not going to get it right every time. Just keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving to create a home environment that's both loving and structured. So, my challenge to you this week is to choose one area to focus on. Maybe it's being more consistent with your consequences. Maybe it's offering more choices within limits. Maybe it's simply being more mindful of your tone and language when you are setting limits. Whatever you choose, start small, be patient with yourself, and celebrate your progress. You are doing an incredible job.